Hello insiders, happy Valentine's Day and welcome back to another recap video where we all become better traders. Today I managed my risk a lot better and Control F is my new best friend, which we talked about in yesterday's video. It's basically the flatten now hotkey and it saved me quite a bit today. So I did do mostly market open trading. Right now I'm in Utah and I'm trading a little bit later as opposed to when I was in Berlin. Today would have definitely been a good pre-market trading day. There was so many good tickers tradable pre-market. I think like 6 tradable tickers pre-market. It was insane. I didn't really get a lot of profits in pre-market because I started trading around like 8:50 a.m. Eastern, and at that point it was done already. So in this recap video, I want to highlight some of the trades where that Control F worked really well for me. And if you want to learn more about why hotkeys are so important, I would definitely recommend checking out yesterday's video, and then I would recommend checking out my hotkey video right here where I talk about all of my different hotkeys. So Feb has been a little bit of a grind for me. Last week was really tricky for some reason. I just had zero flow, and this week I haven't had a lot of flow yet, except today, even though I came in a little bit late. And look at this from yesterday. I wanted to show you guys how crazy this was. I was up around 1,000, which isn't that much, and then I just had this insane descending channel, which luckily I broke out of at one point and almost made back to break even. I was actually below like $2.2 thousand during an open trade, which closed. Luckily it bounced up before I closed it, but yeah, I was down double max loss at one point and made back. So man, that was a slippery slope. Basically had zero flow yesterday, and today it was a nice grind to the front side, and I never really gave back that much, which is nice. If I go to these different days, so let me show you guys. We have Monday here with a profit margin of 33%, which isn't that much for a green day. Usually my green days are over 50, sometimes even like 60, 70, 80%. So this could be improved a lot. And then yesterday, the big red day here, look, I made $5,000, but I gave back negative 5,000. So this profit margin of negative 5% is just insanely poor. I guess it's not that bad for a red day because I made back a lot of my losses. It's better than having like a negative 90% or 100% profit margin where you're just only losing, right? But I just had so many big losers, super avoidable if I use the Control F hotkey, because as you saw in yesterday's recap, I was chasing the order book down and my bids were not getting filled to stop out. So it was a real disaster. And that if I just tightened up a little bit, I think yesterday could have been like a 2-3K day. Easy. I mean, there were so many opportunities and I was just giving back because I was making a lot of money. I was just giving back so much as well. So today I have a nice 60+% profit margin. Some of my better days, like I said, are 70-80%. That's like when I'm almost having zero red trades and I'm not giving back at all. But I was just able to keep a lot more profits. I mean, I didn't make that much money today. I only made 1,100 as opposed to yesterday where I made over 5,000, right? So yesterday I had a lot more opportunities than today, but today I just didn't give back that much profit. I did use a little bit smaller size today, down negative 20% compared to my average, which I wish I sized up a little bit more today for sure. Yesterday, I was just around my average size, and I am, like I said, I'm focusing really hard on sizing. It also looks like I'm taking a little bit too much risk, and I'm not sizing up big enough my green trades. I'm losing more money on my red trades, even though my risk reward percent wise is a good ratio for scalp trading. So this should also be a good ratio, but it's not. So this should be like $150. It shows that I have too big size on my red trades and too small size on my green trades. Something to think about. I could probably improve that ratio by not sizing down into my losers and sizing into my winners a little bit more, especially with this momentum. We're actually getting a little bit of continuation. Going to the second screen, you'll see some of the tickers we had today. IINN, huge mover as well. It's only up 25%, but you know, this ticker was up over 100%. DBGI from yesterday and BMR from yesterday were also worth trading. I mean, look at this move on BMR at the open, but I was so focused on all the other new tickers like ELWS, which was really, really nice. And we also had DTSS, a lot of these classic low floats, and DTSS is up 750% right now. Pre-market, like I said, was beautiful on this ticker, but I didn't really get any meaningful trades in pre-market. We also had CNVS, which was just absolutely crazy. This one popped up, pulled back a little bit, and then just kept on ripping. This one had huge potential. Corey made a lot on this one pre-market. Congrats to you for that. So let's go to the live recording on CNVS first, which surprisingly had a float of 12 million. So it's not even that low of a float. I was kind of surprised it was pushing so hard. You can see this is right around the time I started looking at it. It was 9:09 a.m. Eastern, and it's pushing here around $3. It doesn't really hesitate too long before it pushes over 3.5, and this is when I should have been getting a little bit more aggressive on that move over 3.5. I was just so worried because it had these really strong pullbacks before, but this would have been a good time to jump in on this ticker, especially as we kept holding. It never really wanted to pull back that much. I was mapping out the daily chart, so I was taking some of my attention. But when I saw this 3.5 holding, I should have been jumping in here without a question, right here around that 3.5, even slightly below it. Now I'm kind of realizing that, and I'm thinking on the order book, where should I jump in? But this one, doesn't really delay, and it just keeps ripping. So you needed to be quick on this one without a question, and I hesitated way too long. I did actually get one entry on this CNVS right here on this pullback back to 3.5. This was a pretty good trade. I should have used bigger size, but sometimes I've lost a lot on these tickers that pop up and then they just fade really hard, where it's like a perfect Christmas tree on both sides. So they can be a little bit risky because you're just risking these like 20% pullbacks all the time. This one actually did end up holding, and it did crawl back on the front side really nicely. I did keep trying to chase it, but I never got too aggressive, which I don't really blame myself. I kind of felt like I was coming in late pre-market, and this was just like that last new ticker, and I didn't want to just blindly jump on it and all of a sudden be, right on the day $500 or $1,000. It's happened to me before, and that's just not a fun way to start the day. So here's the market open, which wasn't really too eventful today. DTSS was the one I was watching, and man, it was hectic. It popped up so quickly just to actually flush back down, and it really put a bad taste in my mouth, and I was just like, I don't think I really want to be part of this one. It was also super extended for the day. Then I look at INN. It's having this potential red to green move. I already had a fake out here, and I do a little bit of trading on INN or IINN, but I never get that full reversal on it. So I basically just stop out here for a small scratch. I was constantly looking for that move over 1.8 into the 2s, and I was ready to hold. And this is actually the first time I think I used Control F, but we'll go forward to some better examples. Fast forward a little bit. So this one is in this descending channel, and I'm kind of thinking it's starting to crawl back higher again, looking for that break of 1.8. And you'll see that I actually, when it no longer was working, I used Control F and I just stopped out immediately. This one didn't flush right away, but it could have, and Control F just got me out right away, no questions asked. So that was really nice. There's nothing worse than like fumbling and then all of a sudden missing your sell, and then it's a slippery slope. So now I actually go for this dip trade, looking for that move. I'm still kind of convinced. I'm trading backside though, and that's not really a good place you want to be. Let me pause this for a second, because notice how I'm only in with 3,129 shares. I basically got a partial fill and then I closed it. Now, if I typically wanted to exit this trade, I would have to readjust the quantity, which takes time and it gets really messy. And that's what I used to be doing. I really forgot about Control F for a while. I noticed this ticker is struggling, and I just use flatten and I'm out right away. In this example, I probably could have adjusted the quantity and got out, because it did delay here and moved up slightly again. I got out at 57 though, pretty good exit. And it just would have not been worth my time to do all that fidgeting. So a really good Control F example right there. Even though it didn't flush, it helped me twice back to back. The first time, it probably saved me a lot more. The second time, not so much, but it was still good to get out, and you could always re-enter. Fast forwarding to DTSS, this ticker is super extended on the 5-minute, you'll see right here, but I'm looking to ride this 9 EMA higher. It did end up holding, and it's already crawling back. I'm using a smaller share size than I probably should, but that's fine. I feel like the risk reward today wasn't ideal, so I was kind of managed my risk a little bit. by using smaller share size. On this exit, I actually use Control F as well. So I'm instead of stopping out, I'm actually stopping out to take profit. So it's hit a bit of a profit target right there around 20 because it was hesitating. So that's another great reason to use Control F. It just makes everything a lot easier. Now, I still prefer to sell the ask when I can, and I do it a few times. And there's a really good example coming up where I place a stop that doesn't get reached and the price goes further down, and then I actually just use Control F to get out. So it overrides your other orders as well, which is really nice. Fast forwarding again to DTSS further down here, I think there's a little bit of a channel potentially forming on the 5-minute. So I'm going for this trade, this extended pullback. I already just made one profitable trade on it, and I'm kind of going for it again. I usually don't like to do the same trade twice, as you guys know, but I do it here. So let's see what happens. I'm sizing in. I got 400 shares ready to go. I'm up slightly, then I'm up a little bit more, and here it stops working. I just Control F right out. And a little bit later, this ticker actually ends up flushing pretty hard. So if I was chasing here, I would have gave back all my profit and then some. I would have been red on the day on DTSS right there. So that's why this hotkey is so important. You just don't trip over yourself as much. At this point, I'm up 500 on the day, and I really can't believe that I forgot about Control F. I was using it all the time back in 2020, but then I focused so long on trading pre-market where you can't use market orders, and I kind of just forgot about it. Somewhere between 1 and 2 years of mainly trading pre-market in the slower market. So it's absolutely crazy. I'm happy I rediscovered this hotkey. I did a bit more trading on DTSS. It did start forming that channel, but I was never able to really capitalize on it as much as I wanted to. You can see now I drew out this channel in the lines. So the 5-minute also forming a little bit more. This was my goal. I buy one more time here. I like the fact that the volume's so low on this one. It does pop up and I make a little bit more money. Here I chase a little bit looking for that move to 16. It doesn't work out, so I ended up giving back. So I was up 630 on this ticker and now I'm back to 500. And I've noticed, man, it's really hard for me to make some big profits on DTSS. Pre-market was really where you could have made a lot of money. And then at this area, this front side, surprisingly, I didn't end up trading. I was more focused on different tickers at the time. And I just thought this ticker was so sketchy with all the flushes and the price action. But yeah, man, front side is always what I need to be focusing on. So shame on me for missing this a little bit, but it did feel really, really risky today. So yeah, I'm calling it up on the day, 707, like you guys saw in the stats already. I was up a little over 800 for a bit. I don't mind giving back a little bit off the top. I think it was pretty good. Maybe I could have made a little bit more money if I kept trading, but the opportunities weren't really there after the market opened. So I'm happy with these gains. I'm hoping that it's going to be the start of a little bit more momentum and consistency for me for February, because even though I am green so far this month, I just feel like I've left a lot of profits on the table. I feel like I could have done a lot better. My profit margin is down significantly and my average losses are just way higher than they should be. But at least I'm using slightly bigger average position cost. I guess I got that going for me, but I think I can clean it up a lot. I really just need to stop giving back so much profit. That's my big mistake. Look at that. I made $16,000, but I gave back $14.6 thousand. So I really need to be tightening up this profit margin. This is unacceptable. That usually it's around 22.4%, and so far this month it's at 8%. So that's my big mistake, and that's why this flatten now hotkey is such an important topic, because I need to manage my risk better with all this momentum out here. And what I've been doing is giving back too much, usually in a big flush, by not being able to get out of my trade quick enough and just chasing down that order book, which is a horrible feeling. So I hope you understand why I'm bringing this point home so hard. I'll leave you guys with that. Again, happy Valentine's Day. Thanks for tuning in and dropping that like. Say hi to the missus for me. I'll see you next time.